What's the dumbest thing a guest has asked you while working at Disney World?
An entire family dressed in Harry Potter robes came up to me and said, "Excuse me, where's the train to Hogwarts?" I also got a lot of questions about Minions.
I was a cast member on Disney Cruise Line, and this is the most incredible story of how sometimes guests, well, they don't think. It was pirate night, which means all the characters had on their best pirate gear, arr. And I was greeting Captain Hook and Peter Pan and Mr. Smee. And next up were Chip and Dale. Didn't mean that pun, but here we are. A long line was forming, and I heard a guest say, "Where's Chip and Dale?" I then had to go out and say, Chip and Dale got stuck on jet skis, and they're running a little late. They had the audacity to say, "Oh, I can't believe they were on jet skis."
Geez Louise, it's been a long time since I worked at Disney. But what will always stick out to me is the day that my customer service skills, or guest service, if you worked at Disney, was completely tested by a dumb bitch. She had the nerve, the audacity, the caucasiousness of it all to complain about none other than the sun. That's right, the literal sun, as in the sky, told me it was too hot and that I needed to do something to make the sun go away or to make it less hot. So I took a deep breath and I said, "Ma'am, although Disney is full of magic, unfortunately, we are running a little low on pixie dust and can't do anything about the sun at this moment." And since then, I've always known that my customer service will always be on point. Because you could even tell she was like...
I have so many, of course. But one time a woman was like, "Do you have my phone?" She came up to me at the front of the park and I was like, "No, we don't have lost phones. You can go to Lost and Found." She's like, "No, my phone is here. I'm tracking my phone. You have my phone." And I'm like, "Ma'am, you're tracking your phone? Where did you see it last?" She's like, "No, I had it last at Rock and Roller Coaster, but I'm tracking it and it's here, right here." And then I saw that she had an Apple Watch on and I was like, "Ma'am, does your phone connect to your watch?" And she was like, "Yes." And I was like, "Girl, you are tracking yourself. You're tracking your Apple Watch. Your phone is at Rock and Roller Coaster."
So the story isn't mine, it's actually my brother's, but I think it's the craziest thing a gift has ever asked. He worked at the Seas with Nemo and Friends, and at the end of the ride, if you've ever been, there's the aquarium and everything that you can go see, and right at the end there's those dolphins, and multiple times a day he would be asked if the dolphins are real. I didn't believe him until I actually heard it myself, and people genuinely think that they're fake. Like, I actually heard a dad tell his kids specifically that the dolphins weren't real and that this is Disney, so yeah, they're very much real.
I got a good one. So I used to work at the Tower of Terror, and in the beginning of the queue on the front sign it says Twilight Zone Tower of Terror, and for some reason this couple only processed Twilight and they thought the entire ride was just based on the movie Twilight. So the girl asked me, she's like, "Is Bella and Edward inside?" And I was like, well, I'm like, who the hell is she talking about? And then it processed. I was like, oh my God, she thinks this is a ride based on that movie Twilight. I'm like, if you go inside, you'll find them.
Okay, so I just want to point out that I don't speak for the brand of the company, but I used to work at Animal Kingdom in the parking lot. I was on the back of the trams and, I'm doing my thing. I had lots and lots of jokes. And then I get to the very last stop and I'm like, okay, everybody, this is it. This is the last one. Yeti on the right, Peacock on the left. You don't got to go home, but you can't stay on here. And everybody proceeds to get off except for one family. And I keep saying, I'm like, okay, last stop. We're heading back up to the main entrance. Like, what's going on? And they're just looking around. So I get off. I walk up there and I ask them, hey guys, did you miss your stop? Like, what's going on? They straight face look at me and they go, where are all the animals? I said, what? They were like, this is the safari. Where are the animals? I said, ma'am, you are in the parking lot. The parking lot. She's like, but we've paid $25 to get in. You thought you paid $25 to see animals? In the parking lot.
Just got off work. It's not the dumbest thing a guest has asked me, but it was pretty funny, so I thought I'd share it. So I was at the bottom of Astro Orbiter today, so this is getting people into the elevators to send them up. And I'd only been there for like 5 minutes. And this little 6-year, she had to be like 6 or 7, comes up to me and goes, "Ma'am, is the ride working?" And I said, "Yes, it is. We've been standing here for over an hour." And I'm like, no. I told her, I was like, you've probably been standing there for like 15 minutes. You've got about 5 more minutes left, and then you're going to be right on. She goes, comes back when it's time for her to get on the rockets and goes, "Is there a line when we get up there?" A mini Karen in the works. Oh, Lord.
Hi there, I was a Disney College Program cast member back in spring 2019. Here's one of my craziest stories. A guest came up to me with a Disney pack of earrings and said, "Excuse me, where can I get my daughter's ears pierced so that she can wear these right away?" I worked on Main Street in the Emporium in Magic Kingdom, in the parks. I said, "I am so sorry, ma'am, but your little princess cannot get her ears pierced here. This is a park." She was so astounded. She was like, "Are you sure you guys don't have an ear piercing station?" Maybe she was thinking because we have a barber shop that we had an ear piercing station. I reiterated, "I'm so sorry, ma'am, but your little princess will have to wait until she gets home. You can buy them now and get them pierced when you get home." She was so mad. She put the earrings back, let me know that we should have an ear piercing station. And that's when you end the conversation with, "Have a magical day, ma'am."
Okay, so I did the Disney College Program in the fall of 2017. I worked in outdoor foods at Animal Kingdom. I had worked there for about 2 months at the time, and I was working in Dino Land that day. So basically the conversation started, a woman walked up to me and said, "Hey hon, I just had a quick question. Is this a real fossilized dinosaur?" I kind of chuckled and told her no, that it wasn't real. And she went on to insist that it belonged in a museum if it was a real dinosaur.
So I used to work for Hollywood Studios, and at the time I was by Tower of Terror and Rock and Roller Coaster. So this guy comes up to me and he's just like, "Hey bud, I need to find. I'm having trouble locating the Mummy, locating 2 other rides that are in a different park." So I said, "Unfortunately, sir, this right here is Hollywood Studios. And you are looking for Universal Studios. They are 2 different parks owned by 2 different companies." So his wife overheard me. She came over to me and him. She looked at me up and down, gave me a little smirk. She looked at her husband and she said, "Motherfucker, I spent all this money and we're in the wrong fucking park?" So I looked at them and I was just like, "All right, guys, have a magical day."
This makes me happy. So I work for Disney Cruise Line. We have an island in the Bahamas called Castaway Cay. One of my jobs is to stand at the snorkel area and make sure everyone's kind of following the rules. And we get a few of these questions. So, 1, can you turn up the temperature of the water? No, it's the ocean. 2, can you put more fish? Like, we need more fish because we didn't see very much. It's the ocean. And when you see like barracudas and stuff and we're like, "Hey, maybe don't go near the barracuda," we get Disney owns this, so like we know nothing's gonna hurt us, and we're like, "No, we don't own the fish. The fish are free." So the barracudas. And then my favorite was with teenagers, and they would chase the jellyfish and hit the jellyfish on the top of the head, and we'd be like, "Hey, don't do that!" And they're like, "Well, Finding Nemo said we can." I didn't know how to argue that, so yeah, it was fun.
So a couple of years ago when I was working for the stunt show, whenever I was the camera operator, a few guests would sometimes ask me, "Hey, what do you do with the video once you're done filming the show?" I would sometimes fuck with them and go, "Oh, we send them to Steven Spielberg so he can send us pointers on the show." Or, "Oh, we send them to the extras who follow the rules." But one day, this group of teenagers asked me that question, and I was in a very frisky mood that day, so I just pointed the camera towards them, and then I removed the small piece of plastic that was duct taped over the lens, revealing that the camera is hollow. I gotta tell you, seeing the break of disillusionment in their eyes is a power trip that I will follow and chase the rest of my life.